you might be able to hear Randy. He's very upset right now because I have picked up one of the hens, and a characteristic of a good rooster, if you choose to have a rooster, is that they are protective of the flock. Randy is a really good rooster for us because he is protective of the flock, but he is not overly aggressive, and he doesn't usually attack people without warning. So I upset him, and you can hear him making a lot more noise. One thing is that's to alert the other chickens that there's a danger in the area, that something has happened. And so they're kind of letting each other know that there's a disturbance. So this is one of our hens here at the Jackson County office. She is an ISA Brown, which is a crossbred chicken. They're bred specifically for their egg production. So ISA Browns typically on average lay somewhere between 300 to 350 eggs a year when they're productive. So one hen can lay an egg almost every day. ISA Browns are really productive egg layers, but they're also what we call sex-linked chickens. So that means that the female chicks, when they're first hatched, are darker, they're more of a gold color, and the male chicks are a lighter, more yellow color, and it makes it really easy to tell them apart at hatching so that you can specifically choose hens. There are a couple other breeds of chickens that are bred this way that they can tell apart by color when they're born. Otherwise, it is a little more difficult to determine sex whenever chicks are 1 or 2 days old. But this is one of our hens. She is almost exactly a year old. I think she turns a year old in March. We got them last year in early March as 2 or 3 day old chicks. And then we kept them inside for about 2 weeks, and then we moved them out to a brooder in the barn with lights. A brooder is a place to keep baby chicks where they're warm and dry. When they were about 16 weeks old, 4 months old, we brought them out here into our coop and started free ranging them. And then I think the hens were about 22 weeks old, so around 5 or 6 months old when they first started laying eggs. And then towards the end of the summer, they got really steady egg production. In the wintertime, when days get shorter and we have less light, chickens will start to lay less or not lay at all because they are preparing to molt, so they lose a lot of their old feathers and come into new feathers, and that's a very stressful, difficult period for them. They dedicate a lot of energy to that process, and so sometimes they will stop laying eggs. You can encourage them to lay eggs through the lower light times of the year by adding a light to the hut. We do not do that. We have a red light in our hut, which does not simulate daylight to them. We have the red light in there for heat and a little bit of predator control, predator scaring. So if you have just gotten your chickens, you can expect your new hens to start laying somewhere around 6 or 7 months old. They will become really consistent as they mature into their 1 year old year, and then from about a year to 2.5 years, that's when they are most productive. So a hen is born basically with the potential for all the eggs that she'll ever lay in her lifetime she's born with. So they have a limited number of eggs basically kind of in the queue that they will lay, and whenever they reach about 3 years old, you'll see egg production start to drop off. So they won't produce for as long. They won't lay eggs for as long in the summer, in the season. And then eventually you might noticing less and less eggs. So if your goal is to raise chickens for egg production, just know that you'll have to cycle your flock about every 3 years or so. Some people do this by bringing in some new hens every year, and they have them kind of set in a cycle. And so they'll bring in maybe a third of the flock as new hens, get rid of a third of the old hens, and always keep so many chickens.